All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to be here today. We are having a collaboration event between WKU International and BridgeAfrica. So we are streaming, hopefully, it looks like we are, to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, also streaming to BridgeAfrica, and hopefully we'll have one of our BridgeAfrica representatives join us in just a moment. But before we begin, just a couple introductions. My name is Bryson Keltner. I am the International Admissions Counselor here at Western Kentucky University. And I am a WKU alum myself. I absolutely love WKU. I'm a little bit obsessed with it, actually. But I love working for WKU and helping students from all over the world come and join us at WKU. And then we have another special guest with us today. We have Fatin. I'll bring him on. Hi, Fatin.
Hi, Bryson.
Fatin, do you want to let everyone know who you are and kind of give a little introduction of yourself?
All right. Thank you so much. So my name is Fatin Yaro. I am from Burkina Faso, and I'm currently a student at Western Kentucky University pursuing my doctoral degree in educational leadership.
All right, thank you, Fatin. So basically what we're going to do today, we're going to have a little overview of Western Kentucky University. So I'll tell you kind of the ins and outs. We'll also go over the application process. We'll talk about scholarships at WKU if you're interested. And then Fatin's going to share just a few of his experiences at WKU. So we're glad to have him on here as well. I do want to encourage you, if you have any questions, you can put those in the comments, and we will hopefully be able to answer those as well. So again, thank you for joining. If you're joining us from BridgeAfrica, we appreciate you. Or if you're just joining on our regular Facebook page, no matter where in the world you're from, we are glad that you're here. So thank you. So we're gonna take Fatin off here. And then, oh, it looks like we do have our BridgeAfrica representative, so I'm gonna bring her on. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so sorry. My internet just decided not to work right now, but I'm so glad that I'm here. Thank you so much.
Perfectly fine. Do you want to introduce yourself and give us a little bit of information about BridgeAfrica?
Sure. So my name is Belinda Odek, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of BridgeAfrica. So BridgeAfrica is an organization that is working mostly with students in this continent to improve governance, reduce political polarization, improve governance, and also share opportunities with students when they come up like right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate that you're here as well. So we're going to go on and get started with some information about WKU, and hopefully several students are watching and joining us, and they'll have some lovely questions for us. So let me just pull up our little presentation here. All right. Okay, having some technical difficulties here. But again, we are with Western Kentucky University here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, if you're not familiar with WKU. Again, apologies, I'm having some technical difficulties. All right, so we were established in 1906. We've been around for a while. And just a few things about WKU. We have about 170 different undergraduate programs and about 80 master's programs, so over 200 programs to choose from, pretty much everything you can imagine. But I will say some of our most known programs at WKU are journalism, our humanities, our public health, business, computer science, engineering, education. So the list goes on and on. So we pretty much have everything you can imagine. We do have a very large student population, but even though we are a large public institution, we have the feel of kind of a small private school. So our average class size is only 24 students, and our student to faculty ratio is 18:1. So it is a very personalized experience here at WKU, which is great. Your professor will know your name. You'll be able to raise your hand and ask questions. You won't just be a face in the crowd. And that was something that was definitely really important to me when I was choosing a university. We have a very large international presence at WKU. We have students from all over the world. We have an international festival every year where people come out and share their cultures, which is really amazing. We have international grocery stores and restaurants all over our city. So it is a very international place, and that's something that I love about WKU as well. As far as where we are, here is our beautiful campus. We're actually ranked in the top 10 most beautiful campuses in all of the southern United States. So you can see lots of green spaces right there. And we are built on a hill. We're actually known as the Hilltoppers. So our campus, with it being on a hill, it's actually to your advantage because you can kind of go over the hill, around the hill, through the hill. And no matter where you're going on campus, you can usually be there within about 15 minutes of where you started, which is really nice. Again, very beautiful campus, as you can see there. We are located in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So if you're not that familiar with Kentucky, that's a little red area there within the United States. And you can see it's kind of in the middle. So my favorite part about that is we're not so far north that we get feet and feet of snow. We're not so far south that it's unbearably hot all the time. It is a very nice mixture of climate. We get all 4 seasons very well. Bowling Green itself is a pretty small city. It's about 67,000 people, and it is surrounded by a lot of farmland. Kentucky is the racehorse capital of the world, so you see that picture there. So lots of rural areas. If you love hiking and boating and things like that, you would probably love it in Bowling Green. But we are located about an hour north of Nashville, Tennessee, which is a larger city. So if cities are more your thing, you have that kind of in our back door as well. At WKU, sports are a big part of our culture. We have Division I sports. We're most known for our football and our basketball. So people who don't even like sports go to our sporting events. It's kind of like a big hangout session. And you'll find that, going to school in the US, sports is a very big part of most campus cultures. We actually have a large international presence on our sports teams as well, which is really cool. There are so many things to do on the Hill on our campus. We actually have over 300 student organizations. So everything from intramural sports to play for fun, to volunteer organizations, to academic clubs that have things to do with what you're studying. There's so many ways to get involved on the Hill. And we really encourage that with our students because obviously you're coming to school to get an education, but you're going to be there for a while. So we want it to make it a really positive experience for you that you're really going to enjoy yourself. And that's getting involved is a good way to do that. So we know everyone wants to know how to get admitted to the university. So here are our admissions requirements. So to be admitted to an undergraduate program at WKU, we will need an online application. It's pretty quick and easy. You can find that at our website. We will need a high school transcript. So we'll need a record of your marks. And then with that transcript, we'll need at least a 2.5 grade point average on the American scale. So how that works, you'll send us your transcript, and we in our office will evaluate that transcript and convert it into the American scale for you. So we'll need a 2.5 on the 4.0 scale. With that being said, we will lastly need an English proficiency exam. So you can see the kind of list there. There's several different ones that we accept. Most students will send a TOEFL or an IELTS, but we have all kinds of different ones. Duolingo is a recent one that we added with all of the COVID restrictions because we know a lot of students can't get out to take a TOEFL or IELTS right now. So that one we accept as well. But for undergraduate students, we'll need a 71 on the TOEFL or a 6.0 on the IELTS. That's pretty much it to be admitted for the undergraduate degree, but for graduate, it's a little bit different. We'll still need a English proficiency exam. It's a little bit higher. And aside from the application, every graduate program at WKU kind of requires something different. So a lot of them will require some form of exam score. So for example, to be admitted into computer science, you'll need a 290 on the GRE. To be admitted into business administration, you'll need a 500 on the GMAT. So every program kind of has these different requirements. So what I would recommend if you're interested in one of our graduate programs, go to our website and look at the list of graduate programs. Each of them will tell you what is required for that specific program. Cost of attendance. We do want to put this on here just because we want to be completely transparent with our students. You can see the tuition there for our undergraduate and graduate programs. And then living expenses. We estimate about $11,000 for living expenses. That is everything from your housing, whether you're living on campus or off. That is for books, that's for meals, that's for transportation. I will say that that living expense estimation is actually quite low for a lot of the US. So if you were to go to a very large city to school like New York or Chicago or Los Angeles, that living expense is going to be a lot higher. So that's one of the perks in kind of living in a small college town like Bowling Green. The living expenses are pretty low in comparison. And now scholarships. Since we have talked about living expenses, we do have several scholarships available. With our WKU merit scholarships, those are pretty much automatic as long as you have a high enough grade point average. So when, like I said, when you submit your transcript and we evaluate it for you, convert it into the US scale, if you have a 3.0 or higher on the American scale, you are eligible for our merit scholarships, and those will vary. So basically, the higher your GPA, the more scholarship money you can achieve. But then through our top dollar system, we actually have several other scholarships that you can stack on to our merit scholarship, automatic scholarship. So there are all kinds of different stipulations with that. There might be some different admissions requirements. You might have to do maybe an additional application for those scholarships, but like I said, you can stack them on top and get even more and more and more scholarship money. For our graduate programs, they're a little different. We don't necessarily do scholarships, we do graduate assistantships. So for that, you will have to apply separately for most programs. Some of them, if you get into the program, you actually automatically receive an assistantship. But for that, you'll work very closely with one of the professors in your department. So you might be doing research, you might be helping teach classes. They all have different stipulations, but in order to do that, or for doing that, you'll receive partial or sometimes even full funding for your graduate program. So that's what we like to hear, right? Having full funding, getting for free for your education. That's pretty great. One resource that I do want to point out before we bring Fatin on to talk about his experiences at WKU, I want to talk about our international student diplomats. So these students are our ambassadors. So basically, we have global learning ambassadors here at WKU. These students are current international students at WKU, and they are basically here to help you in any step of the way, whether it's answering questions about the application or getting advice on where to live or what to do in Bowling Green. They're here to help you. So you can set up a Skype session with them, a video call. You can chat with them on our website, just so they give you that perspective. Because I love WKU. I can talk about WKU all day long, but I've never been an international student at WKU. So if you want that true perspective, these students are there to help you. So here lastly is just a little information for you to follow us. So be sure to follow us on social media. We have a very active media account that talks about all the different happenings at WKU on campus, give you stories, give you features. It's really amazing. And then there is our website if you would love more information. So we have wku.edu/international. So you can look up different scholarships. You can look at our different programs, see their admissions requirements, whatever you would like. So I know that was a lot of information I just threw at you. So I'm going to hush now. But we're going to bring Fatin back on, and he can share a little bit about his experiences as an international student at WKU. Sorry, Fatin, I think you're muted. If you would unmute yourself.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much, Bryson, for this wonderful presentation about Western Kentucky University. I am going to share some of my experience. I would focus on three main points: safety on campus, first of all, and then I will also talk about involvement on campus as an international student, and what can be some of the opportunities that come with that. And finally, I will also talk a little bit about the community, the Western Kentucky community, how welcoming that community is. So talking about safety at WKU and in Bowling Green in general, with everything that's going on in the United States right now, with all those Black Lives Matter issues, people watching this video from Africa might be wondering if it's safe to be in the United States right now. Is it safe to be at Western Kentucky for studies? I would say that Western Kentucky University and Bowling Green is considered as one of the safest campuses across the United States. maybe Bryson would be able to provide some more details about that. But this is a very, very safe campus. It's a very safe university, and it's a safe community. Since I got here, I haven't experienced any type of racism. I haven't experienced any type of harassment from the police or whatever. These are issues that exist. I've experienced that in many other places, but since I got here, so far I can say that I haven't experienced any of those type of issues. And all the demonstrations people have maybe been watching through media, you certainly have not heard of anything of the sort, coming from Bowling Green or Western Kentucky University. So that's something that I wanted to indicate, because I know that a lot of people are concerned. When people from Burkina Faso call me, they ask me if I feel safe, right now here. Am I safe? And all those, yes, Western Kentucky, Bowling Green is a safe community, and it's a diverse community where people, interact very easily together. We kind of build a community in here. The second point I wanted to develop a little bit is involvement, on campus as an international student. Once you get here, there are hundreds of student organizations on our campus, and it's good as an international student to get involved in some of those organizations, find your interest, and just join one or a couple of those organizations. I personally am a member of the Student Government Association. I've recently been elected as a senator representing international students on the Student Government Association, and I've also been appointed as a committee chair for diversity and inclusion. And I'm also part of the African Student Union. We have a very dynamic African student community here at Western Kentucky University. We have students from Congo, students from South Africa, from Mali, from the Gambia, and so on and so forth, from Kenya, students from all over Africa. So we have a very dynamic student body on campus. And as I said, once you get here, get involved. It is very important as an international student, because it comes sometimes with many opportunities. What Americans like, what they love in students is their involvement, on campus. Some students would just join a university and they get their degrees and they leave without anybody knowing anything from them. But once you get involved, it creates a lot of opportunities. People may recommend you for scholarships, for opportunities. So it's just good, I would say, to get involved as an international student, on our campus. The third point I wanted to mention is the community at large, Western Kentucky and Bowling Green. I would say that I have been blessed. It's been a blessing for me to be here at Western Kentucky University. And since I got here, I've been very well treated, because, I graduated from a university, and I, was accepted at Western Kentucky University. And I was trying to transfer, my documents, because I came here as a Fulbright scholar. And upon graduation, I thought I was going to, leave the country and go back home. It was kind of a little bit difficult to transfer my documents from Fulbright to Western Kentucky University. But at the very last minute, the university offered me an assistantship, a graduate assistantship position. It's a scholarship, I would say, that covers 9 credits, hours per semester for me. And so I moved to Bowling Green, and I was called by the provost of the international, office, asking me if there was anything they could do for me to help me settle in Bowling Green. As I said, once I graduated from my previous university, I thought I was going to go home. So I shipped a lot of my stuff, my car and a lot of stuff in it, back to Burkina Faso. So when the provost called me, I told him, well, I moved to Bowling Green, and I just bought a bed and a little chair and a desk. But if they could find a couch for me and a desk where I could study, that would be helpful. And he just told me, yes, we can do that for you. And the next day he emailed me and with some pictures of a couch and asking me if I wanted, I was interested in those. And Bryson, who is here with us, is the one who picked them up and dropped them, in my apartment. So this is how welcoming this community is here at Western Kentucky. Once you're here, you won't feel like you've been abandoned, alone in the desert. No, that is not the way it is here. Everybody cares. Everybody wants to make sure that you're comfortable, you have everything you need. And my coworkers in the office, every day we have a meeting. They ask Fatin, is there anything you need? Is there anything we can do for you? Do you need a ride to Walmart to get your groceries? And that those type of support makes me feel like wanted here. It makes me feel that I'm valued and I'm wanted here. And this is something that is provided, for all international students. So this is what I wanted to say about the welcoming opportunity, how welcoming WKU and Bowling Green is at large. Thank you so much, Bryson.
All right, thank you, Fatin. Thank you for sharing. That was a beautiful kind of picture of WKU and Bowling Green, and I'm so glad that you feel so welcomed. And something you touched on is the safety. So we take safety very, very seriously at Western Kentucky University. In fact, we are known in the top 4 safest campus communities in the entire U.S. So there is kind of a certification by the National Safety Council. So there are emergency towers all over campus. Should you ever feel that you need to be connected to the police, and they can be there within seconds. Hopefully you would never have to use those, but just kind of knowing that they're there for your safety and protection is just a kind of a really reassuring thought, I think. And like you were saying, WKU is a very welcoming place. We have, like I said, students from all over the world represented. And no matter where you're from, no matter what your culture is or what your beliefs are, it's kind of welcomed. It's kind of shared. And it's a really beautiful thing, I think, where people can come and kind of, share their culture with others, learn about other people's culture, for sure. So we do have a couple of questions. So again, if you'd like to comment on our Facebook or YouTube or whatnot, we'd be glad to answer any questions that you have. But someone asked, how many people are at WKU? So we currently have a student population of about 20,000 students. However, that is spread across our branch campuses. So we have our main campus in Bowling Green. We have a few branches in other parts of Kentucky. So that is everyone. There are not nearly that many students actually on campus, I can assure you. But even though, like I said, in kind of more the presentation piece, even though we do have a very large student population, it's a very small feel because of those small classes, because of those individual clubs and organizations, because of the advisor help that you will receive from your major advisor and from your international student advisor. It does feel very small and interconnected, like you're not just a number. I think the team kind of was a testament to that everybody kind of feels like they're part of it and they have a place. So that's a really lovely thing. Another is, how can I join WKU? And then where I can fill that out easily. So if you will go to our website, it is wku.edu/international. You'll find, like I said, all of the information about our programs, our scholarships and whatnot, but also you'll be able to see our application. So if you'll just click apply, you can absolutely start the process right then and there. The application is very quick and easy. And then after that, you'll just have to send us your English proficiency exam results, and your academic transcript. Pretty quick and easy. Are there any other questions? Also, I want to invite if any of the BridgeAfrica folks would like to say anything else or give us any other questions, perhaps.
All right. So I think one of the questions I had has already been answered, actually. I wanted to ask about the student population and the diversity of the student group that you have at your university. So my next question, or rather something that I'm just getting a text message, somebody's asking about the scholarships. She's saying that she didn't understand exactly how the scholarships program works, the partial scholarship and the graduate assistantship program. So if you could just go over that briefly, maybe that would really help.
Absolutely. So for the undergraduate scholarships, basically our international merit scholarship is pretty much guaranteed. So basically, if you have high enough grades on your transcript, you receive it automatically. There's no additional applications or whatnot, no qualifications. You don't have to, share what your extracurriculars are, anything like that. And how that works is you'll send us your academic transcript. We will go course by course within our office and say, okay, this student had this grade in Kenya. This would be a grade as a B in the United States scale. So we'll go course by course like that, and we'll give you an American grade point average on a scale of 4.0. So you'll need a 2.5 on that scale to be admitted to the university. But if you have a 3.0 or higher, you'll be eligible for those international merit scholarships. So students can receive 2,000, 4,000, sometimes even significantly higher on those international merit scholarships per year. So again, that's just automatic. But then we have our top dollar portal. So basically, there are several other undergraduate scholarships in which you can apply, and you can actually stack those on top of that merit scholarship. So these are varying different amounts. Some of them do require additional applications, but if you go to wku.edu/top dollar, you'll be able to see all those different scholarships and see what they require and how much those can be, given to you. As far as the graduate assistantships, again, we don't do scholarships in the traditional sense for our graduate programs. Those are more for undergraduate. But for our graduate programs, we do the assistantships. And kind of like Fatin was saying, he has kind of an assistantship. You'll be working with the department at WKU very closely, and sometimes receive partial or even full funding for your program, depending on the assistantship. So it's a little bit different than the scholarship. The scholarship is just you either get the merit scholarship automatically or you apply for another scholarship. The assistantship has that kind of element where you're very involved with that department. So there's a small difference. Other questions? I think that's all I've seen on our Facebook so far, but any other from you?
Yes, I have another question. So someone else is asking me if you have like a long distance program where they can apply for a scholarship and still be able to take their course from Africa as a student.
Okay, sure. So some of our programs you actually can do fully online. So if you don't want to come to the US, you don't have to require a visa or anything like that. Some of our programs you can do fully online. You can find those programs on our website. However, we do know that it is a kind of an odd time right now with all of the COVID restrictions and whatnot. So several students are actually starting their degree in their home countries with us and then coming to the US, when they can. So, and something I haven't actually mentioned yet, and I should have, we have a wonderful Pathways program. It's International Pathway to Student Success, which is a little different than most universities' pathways. This is basically just to enable your success at WKU and help you succeed. So this pathway involves classes that kind of help you begin. You'll, be able to really learn how to do classes in the US. You might take a pop culture class that is, going to allow you to learn about the US and in pop culture and whatnot. So these are kind of some of those lower classes that you would have to take anyways, because no matter what you study as an undergraduate student, you're going to have to take a few core classes that are, math and an English and a science and whatnot. These are courses that will count towards those general education requirements, but they have that kind of additional help with the pathways. But with that being said, we do have a couple of courses within the pathways that are completely online for our students that just can't physically join us yet. And I know Fatin is actually very involved with the pathways. So let me just bring him on and maybe he can share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so as you've mentioned, the IPAS program, International Pathway for Academic Success, is designed, to help international students, succeed as college students at Western Kentucky University. Some of them, come with some limited level in English. We provide some sort of support to those students. We also help them, in techniques on how to write academically following the APA format. And we do organize a lot of different workshops aiming at, providing all type of resources that can help a student be successful in the United States. So far, we've had 2 different workshops. We organized one on time management, and the second one was on academic integrity, how to avoid, being caught in plagiarism stuff and cheating, and, promote, academic integrity, honesty, and so on and so forth for a student to be successful. So yeah, I think that kind of touched a little bit to the question. I can see a question that Balbone asked, but Bryson, maybe you can provide some more details about that. He's asking if there's a possibility for a student with an intermediate level in English to apply.
Sure. So for that, like I said, we will require an English proficiency exam to be admitted into the university. However, we realize that you might be a very intelligent student. You just need a little additional help with your English level, and that's okay. So we actually can admit you if your English level is just slightly below what our proficiency standards require. With that being said, you will have to go through the pathway program. And again, you're going to get all that wonderful additional help that Fatin just mentioned, but you're going to get that kind of additional English help as well to kind of sharpen your English skills. So like I said, we do have that kind of standard for English proficiency, but that can be slightly lower than that standard to receive that help.
Okay,
Any other
so
questions?
I just have one more question again, because I am mostly here to help you, get some of the brightest students we have in Africa, and we work with them for sure. So I just want to ask, we are coming up with the BridgeAfrica Leadership Institute, and what this is going to do is it is going to help us transition some of our student leaders from the campus level to a place where they can be able to get internships with other maybe universities or other organizations. So I just wanted to know whether you have like an internship program where we can transition some of our students to work with you to also help you get other students to apply for scholarships at your institution.
Sure. So we have several different internship possibilities at WKU. There is actually in our international student office, there's a team that kind of works more with the students who are currently on campus. So I mostly work with students, helping them get to campus. But with that, there is one of our advisors who is phenomenal that can basically, help students make those connections and get those kind of internship opportunities, get OPT opportunities, so where they're able to stay in the country after they graduate for a period of time and work in their field. He's phenomenal with that. So we do have several of those opportunities. So if any students or any of the Bridge staff has any questions about that, we would love to, be in contact with you about that. So I actually haven't given my contact information yet, so let me just do that. So if you'd like to email us, you can reach us at applyinternational@wku.edu. And again, we would love to talk about those opportunities.
Okay, I just got one more question again. One of my students is asking about the language requirement. I think it's already been answered, but let me just ask directly the way she's done. So she wants to know whether you guys have any particular preference with reference to where they're supposed to take their TOEFL, or they can just take TOEFL from any institution, and so long as they pass, they can get admitted at your institution?
So for that, yes, we do require the English proficiency. So if they do the TOEFL, as long as it is, the certified TOEFL exam, it doesn't really matter where you take it. But there are several options for that. And again, we recently actually added the Duolingo kind of requirement standard, because we do know that in several countries, TOEFL and IELTS are actually kind of on pause right now because of those COVID restrictions. So Duolingo is actually available if you want to take it basically, by yourself. So that's kind of a different option as well. And it looks like we have another question popping up here for me. Chances to attend the programs as a 45-year-old. So yes, that is absolutely possible. We have non-traditional students join us all the time, so you don't have to be, fresh out of high school or fresh out of your undergraduate degree to do our programs. So that is perfectly fine. We will still need those requirements, so the English proficiency, the transcript and whatnot, but you can absolutely join us as a non-traditional student.
And he's also asked if there are scholarships for PhD students.
For PhD students, I don't deal with those quite as much. We don't have that many PhD programs, but there are some assistantships and funding opportunities available. Kind of like the graduate programs, they're not so much scholarships like our undergraduate degrees, but there are some funding options available. And if you would like to send us an email, I'd be happy to kind of talk about those with you as well. So again, that's applyinternational@edu, or applyinternational@wku.edu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any other questions? These are wonderful questions, by the way. Don't think so? All right. Well, again, no matter where you're joining us from, if you're joining us from Africa through BridgeAfrica, if you're joining us just anywhere in the world on our Facebook or YouTube pages, we really appreciate you being here. Hope we gave you some good information. And again, we'd be more than happy to talk to you more. We have international students who would love to give you some more perspective. But thank you, Fatin, for sharing your experiences. Thank you, everyone with BridgeAfrica, for tuning in and being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.